Hello, Rose. This will be some video feedback for Milestone 1, but it'll also cover the wireframes of this last week, and I'll end or conclude with the journal entry about characterizing your target audience and making focus groups. Oh, Rose, you've attached two sets of wireframes. I see one is posted new or newer. And let's see, are they similar? They look very similar to me. Just in general, I think you're wise to keep your navigation towards the top. If it's going to be a big online, or if it's a sort of a high cuisine place that really requires reservations, I think that's good to put it in the middle. Just be aware, though, that this area is considered prime real estate for a web page. It's the upper top of the page. You might put their logo up there. Better not to have too much scrolling downward. And I do like, I don't know about having links floating out there. Was there going to be a background image? It might be good to have to keep all of your navigation links to a single area, such as a navigation bar. Just a suggestion. Not sure what you mean by page title floating out here. Page title is going to appear up here in the browser tab. But I like also the ones where you suggest using images, large images, or just a few images rather than many images like here. Depends on the nature of your restaurant, I suppose. And then think about a footer. It's not required in this class, but as a web page has a head, a body, web pages also have footers. Typically what's put there are social media links, sometimes another version of the sitemap, and then revision information sometimes is put in the footer. Just things to think about. But you've met the rubric requirements for the wireframes coming up really well. Good job. Rose, you did a great job on your Milestone 1 submission, which is the sitemap and evidence of file management. I like this branching diagram that you gave me. It's very clear. Be aware of how many levels you are building. This is level 1. The home page would be. These are child pages. Not sure why you have it in two places. More likely, oh, I see, that's menu. That's not home. Let me zoom in. So yeah, okay. So you've got 3 levels of pages. Actually 4, perhaps. No, 3. This would be. You might want to arrange dinner and cocktails on the same level. Just an idea to keep the clarification that your website is not so much deep as it is broad, if that makes any sense. Then you've also provided a coded sitemap, good going, and you've taken a screen image, looks like, of what's on your desktop as well as what's on your GeoCities account. And it looks like your file structure matches. So I hope that that was clear, when I urged you to match file structure and directories, folders, etc. across from your desktop to the GeoCities server. Good job on that. The rubric for this is binary. All it asks is, do you have a sitemap, a properly coded sitemap? And then the other question it asks is, do you have evidence of file management? And in both cases, you've done a terrific job. So good job on Milestone 1. You've also learned how to upload files to GeoCities successfully. And to embed images like this in your submissions is great. Makes it very easy for me to see what you've accomplished. Now, I know this is 3.3, but it's really important for your milestone because this shows me how you've been able to upload files and add additional styling. I'm looking at your file in Safari for the Macintosh, and I can divide my screen to look at your code while previewing live your web page. Over this little menu here, shows me gives me a rough idea of what's on your server, and or at least what's public on your server. Now, I see that you've considered making a GRA 310 folder. Think about how you're going to archive your assignments. For 3.3, it's also a binary rubric, and that is it only asks 2 questions. And the first is, have you added some style to at least one head? And I see that you've used the corporate color for town, or one of them. And the other question it asks is, have you been able to upload your file properly to GeoCities? And I wouldn't be able to look at it if you hadn't. So good going. Those are two major hurdles, I think, in learning to work with HTML, and that is FTP and also inline styling. Oh, Rose, before I leave, I wanted to point this out too. If you view your code live from any browser has a view source command, I guess, you'll see this mysterious little script. All right, and I've highlighted it here. It's in your code. You may come across it. It's something that GeoCities puts on there to make your web pages viewable and searchable. So don't be alarmed. It's just a consequence of hosting with GeoCities. The other thing that GeoCities puts on your pages by default and dynamically is this little phrase, hosted by geocities.ws. You could go back through there and probably get rid of them, and it would probably do no harm, but once you've got the other information, just wanted to let you know what that is if you came across it. Rose, I like the way you take each of the rubric prompts and respond to them. What's the word? Well, I'm not sure what the word is, but you're methodical. There we go. Your methodology, I like that, the way you take each of the prompts. That way you can't go wrong. And at the end here, you suggested two other resources for figuring out what your market is and forming focus groups. And yes, SurveyMonkey is a good one. Also consider the U.S. Census. Google Analytics is a good one to go to, and then also Nielsen has information. Now, not all of this is free. The census information is, and it's a gold mine. But some of the other ones, more focused ones, you will have to pay fees for access to their data. Nice job. I like your responses are well written. The articulation of response is fine. Just think about other types of market research you could do, including look at the competition in the area. Certainly one. Think about people to add to your focus groups, which might include kitchen staff. And I see that you have a reservations on there. If they have takeout, you might consider ways, workflows that include wait staff and that might shape in some ways your website. So there are a wide variety of audiences probably to consider. Good job overall, though, and you've completed some hurdles in the class. I look forward to seeing your website take visual form.